Loves and welcome back to my channel. It is Ijoma here, and in today's video we're going to learn how to make this beautiful dress with a waistline cut out. This dress is beautiful. I used a thick duchess to make this dress and I used 3 yards. So here is my fabric. This is a thick duchess, 3 yards. I have my tape, my scissors, my ruler and my chalk. First of all, we'll cut the upper part before we cut the lower part. I'm going to fold my fabric for the front. This style is always better if you use a thick fabric, not like thick, but the fabric should be thick a bit. This style is always better when you make it with a thick fabric. So this is a thick duchess and I have folded. The first thing that I'm going to do is to mark my shoulder. After my shoulder, I'll mark my half length, my bust point and my allowance. I want to iron it a bit so that the center line can relax. You need to iron so that the center line can relax. When you are working with a thick fabric, most times they do not relax easily. After doing that, I'll mark my shoulder, my bust point, my half length and an extra allowance, and I have indicated the measurements that I need. And now I'm covering my armhole. For the neckline, I use 3 by 6 inches, 3 inches for the width and 6 inches for the depth. Then I'll mark my armhole and my shoulder slants from there. If you are making yours, if you want your V neckline to come down more than this, it will be fine. If you want to make it 7 inches on 8 inches, maybe if you want your sleeves to show, you can come down by 8 inches. Now I have measured 4 inches for my nipple to nipple and I am marking my dart line. I'm using a basic dart for it, half an inch on both sides. If you want to do a princess dart, that is still okay. I'm done marking my darts. I'll go ahead and mark my bust divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance. After marking that, I will also measure my waist divided by 4. My waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that allowance and 1 inch for the normal seam allowance. Then I'll go ahead and connect. This is really easy. If you want to make a princess that is okay as well. So after marking this, I'll go ahead and cut out my fabric, and I'll not be using a lining for this dress. The fabric is thick already. I'll go ahead and cut out the front part, and using the front, I will cut out the back. I'll notch my dart. Remember to notch your dart. After that, I will place on my back. I have folded my back. I'll go ahead and cut out the back too, and I'll add 1 inch zipper allowance. I want to use 1 inch for my zipper allowance. If you want your zipper to be at the side, that is okay, but for me, your zipper should be at the back. I'm done cutting out my back armhole, the side. I'll also measure the neckline. The neckline will be 1.5 inch deep or 2 inches. I want to use 1.5 inch. Then the wideness to be 3 inches. I want the back to be a high neck. I'll go ahead and cut out. After cutting out, I'll open my zipper allowance and I'll also cut my waistline. After cutting your waistline, please do not forget to notch your dart. That is very important so that you will not be confused when picking your dart. I am done, and this is what I have. If I open up the back, you can see my zipper allowance. You can see the darts that I notched. After doing that, I'll go ahead and measure my half length. Then I'll mark where I want my cutout to be. My underbust is 13. I have indicated the 13. Then I will come down by 1 inch. And then for the width of the cutout, I want it to be 5 inches after cutting. So I'll make it 2 inches. 2 inches is 4, right? And I'll use half an inch to turn this cutout. After turning it with half an inch, it will become 5 inches. So I went up. I came down by 1 inch from my underbust. I indicated my underbust. Then from there, I came down by 1 inch and I marked. You can see I have cut out that half length cutout. So you are free to determine how high and how low you want this particular cutout to be. If you open it up, this is what it will look like, and you will have your dart. The next thing that I will do is to cut out my facing. I want to cut out a facing for this. If you want, you can cut out your facing separately, like the neckline facing will be different from the waistline facing, but I want to cut the facing together. Like I will cut a facing that will cover both the neckline and the half length cutout. So this is how I'm going to cut it. Just pay attention. I'll go ahead and cut off my half length. I will cut out my waistline cutout. Then I also cut the arm, the shoulder, and I'll cut my neckline. After doing that, I'll go in by 5 inches or 4 inches. Then I will cut out the remaining parts of the facing. If I open this up, you can notice that I have the facing for the top and for the down part at the same time, and this will make your work very neat. So just hem the side of the facing and you are good to go. Now I will keep this aside and we will cut our down part. So this is the fabric that I'll be using for the down part, and I am making gathers for the down part. My waistline is 28 inches, right? So for the first tier, this gown has 2 steps. The gathers are 2, first tier and second tier. For the first tier, I will multiply my waist by 2. 28 times 2 is 56. So the length of this first tier will be 56 inches. My waist times 2 is 56 inches. My waist is 28 times 2, 56 inches. So I am folding it so that I will have 56 inches. Then I will go ahead and mark the length where the second tier will start from. So what I'll do is that I will subtract my half length, that is 16. I want the first tier to stop at my hip line, that is 27 or 26 inches depending on your hip line. Then the full length of the gown will be 44 plus 2 inches for seam allowance, 46. I don't know if you understand. So the first tier will be 11 inches, the second tier will be 19 inches long. The first tier will be shorter than the second tier. Then the first tier is 56 inches long. If I open this fold up, I have 56 inches. That is my waist times 2. And after cutting this out, I will cut the second one. The second tier will be double of the first tier. I don't know if you understand. This is my first tier. I will go ahead and keep it aside. Then for the second tier, it will be double of the first tier. The first tier is 56 inches long, right? That means the second tier will be 112. That means I will cut out 56 inches times 2. It is on fold now. I'll go ahead and cut the first one. I want to measure so that I'll make sure that I have 56 inches. On fold, it is 28. I'll go ahead and cut the first one. I will join it so that it will be enough. I cannot get it at the same time. I will join 56 plus another 56, and that will give me 112 inches for the second tier. So the second tier will be way longer than the first tier so that the gathers will balance. I am done cutting that out, and this is what I have. I'll go ahead and join the two of them together to have a very long piece for the second tier. I'll keep this aside. So this fabric right now is for my sleeve, and the sleeve is a puffy sleeve, and this is what I have left. I'll go ahead and cut my armhole, and I'll also open up the sleeve. The length of this sleeve is 24 inches. I will still hem the down part for my elastic. I'll open it up and I'll keep that aside. I have 2 pieces here already, and that will be all for the sleeve. So right now we'll start the sewing process. But before I do that, remember that at the front, at the top, you have a small piece that they use to fold it. I have cut out that piece. I am done adding my dart to my bodice. This is my dart. Now I will turn with my facing. This is my dart. I am done fixing my dart. This is my facing. I'll go ahead and place my facing. I have also hemmed the sides of my facing. I'll pin this down. I will turn the V-neck at the top and the V cutout at the waistline. After doing that, you will notch and you will top stitch. It is very important. So this is for the back. I used my bias to turn the neckline. I used the bias to turn the neckline. This is very easy, and I fixed my darts too. So this is for the flare or for the gathers part. The first one is 56 inches long, the second one is 112 inches long. So I'll gather the second one on the first one, and that is all for the down part. So make sure that you buy at least 3 yards. 3 yards should be enough, but if you want it to be very full, you can buy 4 yards. I've also hemmed the down parts of my second tier, and I will keep that aside now. So this is my sleeve. I am done hemming my sleeve. I have made a space, a channel for my elastic. I'll keep the sleeve aside. Then back to the top. I am done turning the neckline and the waistline cutout. I notched and I top stitched. You can see it. I top stitched. Then after, you will turn it out from the side, and after turning this out, you go ahead and iron properly. You will iron very well because this fabric is thick. You iron very well so that everything will relax. You can see what we have there. I'll go ahead and iron properly, and I will keep. So for the back part, I have also closed my zipper allowance for the back part. I'll open up this zipper allowance and I will iron before I shape. So I am done ironing my zipper allowance, and for the front, I am done turning my neckline and the half length cutout. So right now I'll pin 2 of them together, and I'll take my bust measurement and my waist measurement. After closing that, I will also close my shoulder. I am done closing everything, and I'll measure my half length 16.5. I'll make it 16.5, half inch for seam allowance. Then I will retrim my armhole. I want my shoulder to be smaller than the normal shoulder measurements because I am making a puffy sleeve. I'll go ahead and trim off the half length, and this is what I have now. So after trimming this off, the next thing that we are going to do is to fix our gathers. That is the next step we are going to take. So before I do that, I'll go ahead and gather the second tier on the first tier. This is the second one. I'll go ahead and gather it on the first one. I don't know if you understand. So right now, I will go and gather, and after gathering, I'll come back. It will make the sewing process easier. I am done gathering the second tier on the first tier. Now, I will gather this first tier around my waistline. You can see what I have here. First of all, notch the center, fold, and notch the center. This is very important. So I have notched my center, and I will make this center to merge with the center of the upper part. You will see what I'm going to do here. So I will go and gather this center area first of all. I'll gather the center area first of all, gather on both sides, and then you will come down and pin it to your top before you gather the rest of the waistline. I don't know if you understand. So I've gathered only this center part, and now I will pin down and make sure that the notch is at the center of this dress. I will pin the rest of the waistline down, then I will go ahead and gather. Just make sure that that center part that you notched is at the center of this dress. Do not allow it to shift so that the gathers will be equal. Right now, I will go ahead and gather. I'll make my gathers, then I will come back and show you guys. You can see that the fabric is equal on both sides. I am done gathering. Now I will fix that piece at the center. You will have to make it shorter than the length of that center so that it will gather the center a bit. I'll go ahead and sew, then I'll come back. So now this is what I have. I have fixed that center band. Now we are going to close this rough edge at the center. So if you want, you can overlock and fold in, then tack. But I will cut out a piece. This is this piece of fabric. I'll cut out this piece. I'll fold the sides, and then I will turn this center part with it. You can see I folded this side. I will turn the center part with it. If you want to turn it with a lining, fine. You can use the lining to close that waistline. So you can see I have closed that center piece, and if I fold it in, you can see how neat it looks. I also top stitched it. Right now, you will go ahead and iron and tack this piece down. You can turn this area with your lining round your waist, and it will close this rough part. Next thing is to fix our sleeve. I am done adding an elastic to my sleeve, and I'll go ahead and fix my sleeve. You can see how beautiful our sleeve looks. After fixing the sleeve, I will fix my zipper, and that will be all. Please do not forget to tack down the center piece, the piece that we used to turn the center. At the end of the day, this is what we have. I hope this is beautiful. Please ignore my rough window. This is where we work all the time. This is my fashion academy. If you want to register with us, you can chat me up on Telegram, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and on Instagram, so that you can join us. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that anytime I upload, you'll be notified. Also like, so that more people can get to see this video. Thank you all so much. I hope you love the tutorial. Bye.